Okay, announcements. August 24th, 2020, students with the last names A through K will report to school. And on August 27th, students with the last name L through Z will report to school. August 27th is also the first day of school for virtual learners. September 3rd, 2020 is a board meeting work session, 6:30 p.m. at the Fairfield High School Catherine D. Milligan Community Room, with a very extensive Butler Tech update to be included in that. September 4th is In-Service Day number 2. There's no students. And September 7th is Labor Day, no students. Board member comments. We'll start with Mrs. O'Neill.
I'm just looking forward to the start of the school year. I'm optimistic hearing how Butler Tech has been doing. So I'm just excited to see some kids back in the buildings. And it definitely feels weird when you're in these spaces and they're not being used the way they were intended to be used. It's like an empty shell. So I'm excited for those shells to be filled soon with the hustle and bustle of kids and learning. So I'm just crossing my fingers and excited. That's it.
Great. Mr. Begley?
Yes, I wasn't sure how I was going to say what I wanted to say tonight, but then Connor Shearing spoke during the public participation portion, and one of the things he said hit me. He said he hopes we can find it in our hearts to have 5-day-a-week education, and I want he and everyone to know that it's in all of our hearts that we be able to do that. But that decision can't come from the heart or with much emotion. It has to be based on the rules that we have to play under, the guidance that we're given by our local health officials, and so we arrived at the hybrid model, which probably makes no one happy. And I certainly understand how inconvenience may not even be the right word, how difficult it's going to be for many of our families here in Fairfield. And it's my hope that that model allows us to maintain contact with our students and the accountability piece and all those parts that in-person education is so important. We're hearing good results from Butler Tech, but both locally and nationally, you're seeing schools have positive tests and having to quarantine. And the hybrid model, again, gives us our best chance to keep our buildings open and to keep our kids in the classroom. And I want to assure you that the first chance we have to consider 5-day-a-week education, we will do that. I want to wish everyone a great start to the school year, and as Mrs. O'Neill said, and others, we're going to ask you to do your part and to wear your mask and to wash your hands and to socially distance, as things that are very difficult for adults, much less our students. But we're going to ask you to do that, again, with that goal in mind, so that we can all be back together just as quickly as possible. Have a great school year.
Thank you, Mr. Begley. And I will note that Butler Tech reported back in a hybrid model. So that's helping, is that they're able to social distance. So. Mrs. Gundrum.
I want to thank Mr. Begley for his words. I don't think if I had tried, I could have said it any better than he did. I also just want to thank the administrators who are here for all of their hard work. I know getting ready for the beginning of the school year is hustle and bustle and crazy as it is, and then you throw in COVID-19 along with it, and it's probably 10 times crazier at least. So thank you all for your work and your flexibility and, rolling with the situation as it goes. And I hope everybody has a great start to the new school year.
Thank you, Mrs. Gundrum. Mrs. Shorter?
I'd like to echo the sentiments of my fellow board members. Couldn't have said it better. I'm hoping that everyone has a good and safe year. I want to thank Mr. Penny for going above and beyond in putting this together. Mr. Martin, thank you so much for all of your policy work. That's amazing. Thanks for the update on the funding, Nancy. And just in general, you guys do a fantastic job, and we're grateful for you. This place is so highly dependent on your excellence, and I'm very appreciative of it, and I know the public is too. I would also like to say how unfair it is. You're going to have a board meeting on my birthday. So September 3rd. But I will tell you, it will be good to get back to something that's a little bit more like normalcy. I miss, I miss things the way they were. I truly do. But I also want to say congratulations to board member Mrs. O'Neill. I have heard so many good things about the speech. I couldn't get there. Work is crazy right now. It really is. But I know you did a wonderful job.
Thank
I've heard
you.
about it. Great job.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
giving them that rah-rah and getting everybody motivated, because this is going to be a challenging year. So, I mean, we know it's going to be a challenging year, and we want our staff to be pumped, psyched, ready to go, fired up, ready to go. So, thank
Thank
you
you.
for doing it. Thanks for, putting your heart into it and delivering.
Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. Shorter. Yeah, too, I was so very impressed and moved by Mrs. O'Neill's words, and I told her right away, I felt compelled to go over because they were so very well written and very emotional and heartfelt, and I think that's exactly what the staff needed to hear, because they're just as stir crazy as everybody else and worried about how things are going to go and the uncertain, all the different changes that are going on. And I just think that you said the words that needed to be said. And so I even went out on Facebook and said how great you did. And I've written some of those speeches, and they were way better than I've ever written. And so I wanted to say publicly how incredibly impressed I was by your words. And I look forward to hearing more.
Thank you.
I'd also do want to say thank you to Mr. Smith, because he spent so much time answering emails for parents. Anybody that has questions, emails the board. They get I forward it to Mr. Smith right away, and within half an hour, like, they've got a response back, or he's forwarded on to someone else that can get that answer to them. And I know in today's world where everybody wants instant gratification and answers to their questions right away, in these uncertain times with this virus that's so unusual and doesn't react the way other viruses are, sometimes the answer isn't simple. You can't get them right away. And so I ask parents, please be patient until the right answer is given to you, even if it's not immediate. And I know that he spends countless hours replying to parent concerns and student concerns. I know he even took time out of a birthday party for his wife to answer emails. I mean, he is working incredibly hard, and I appreciate that. And I don't have children in the district. I have grandchildren, but I know that the leadership team and the principals and the teachers, they're like exhausted, ready for the school year. I mean, they've been working so very hard, and they're exhausted, and it's August. Like, it's not May and the end of the school year where you can say, okay, it's going to be, like, it's just August. And so I appreciate all that, all the work that's going on, and I can't imagine being in the position that you're all in, and I just appreciate it so much, all the work you're doing, and it's way more than you've ever had to do before, so thank you for that. I do want to thank Mr. Shorter for your expertise in your science and all your engineering and all that kind of stuff, to understand the difference between an 8 MIRV and a 13 MIRV and whoever many MIRVs we need. That helped me a lot, so thank you so much for that. And, it is kind of exhausting getting some emails from some parents, and they say some pretty hurtful things, and they're not in our shoes. And we've read that book about being in the arena, and I want each board member to know that, again, that they're speaking from their heart. They see how it's affecting their lives and their students' lives. And so please don't take it personal. I'm not taking it personal. They don't understand what we have to decide and the information we get. And it's really, some decisions are out of our hands, and we have to do what's best for students. And so please keep up the great work that this board is doing. You're making sound decisions based on sound data that we're getting. And you obviously are doing it for what's best for our students and our families and our staff. All those things need to be considered. And each decision has to be made separately from other decisions. So a different decision for marching band than for football, and a different decision for school as opposed to show choir. I mean, each of those things have different criteria that need to be met in order to happen. And so you've been wonderful looking at all the scenarios and all the decisions and having good, thoughtful conversations about it. And I know maybe some people in the school district don't appreciate it, but it's because they just don't understand the effort that you're putting in. So thank you very much for your work, and thank you, Mr. Smith and Mrs. Lane. Okay, at this time, there's a need to recess to executive session under Ohio Revised Code 121.22G2, purchase or sale of real estate, and court action 121.22G3, pending or imminent litigation. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to convene to executive session.
So moved?
Second?
Heard Mr. Begley and Mrs. O'Neill. Any questions or comments? I do not anticipate any action to follow executive session. Mrs. Lane, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Begley?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Neill?
Yes?
Mrs. Shorter?
Yes.
Mrs. Gundram?
Yes.
Mr. Birding?
Yes. Okay, motion passes. We will start executive session at 7:45 PM. I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you.